Today we are going to discuss about personal influence often take the form of what has been referred to as a lay referral system. This is the network of the friends and relatives. Lay means friends and relatives who are consulted when a symptom is experienced. It should be apparent that the influence of these significance means your peers, relatives, friends, others in the turn a function of the degree to which they influenced by their personal perception of the factors under discussion. If you're discussing about a disease and a treatment, they advise you, they give you the solutions to your parents, your friends, your family members. It is well known that many symptoms are experienced routinely by the population, yet many may never do anything to relieve these symptoms. Some studies have shown that social stress from other life crises may be a trigger to action of any disease. A person who has lived with intermittent bout of stomach pain, stimulated by a diverse action, suddenly decided to seek medical care. Protectively, apparently, affect perception of seriousness in that condition, perceived as untreatable, are likely to take on the identity of the disability rather than of the sickness. Physical manifestation visible to the patient and to others are likely to result in attaching great seriousness to symptoms. The same is true for the way a patient handles symptoms. Grievances and groans by the patient, whether voluntary or involuntary, are likely to lead to a greater level of severity being attached to the condition as those around him are. It should be clear from foregoing that health decisions are complex subject, often emotional, and subject to influence by others. Significant others means your friends and family members. Among the factors that appear to enter into the patient's decision concerning symptoms are the following: extent, extent of interference with normal activities and the characteristic, the clarity of the symptoms, the tolerance threshold of the symptomatic persons, the familiarity and seriousness of the symptoms, assumption about the cause, assumption about prognosis, interpersonal influence, other life crises of the symptomatic persons, assumptions about the treatability, physical manifestation, and inpatient management. Marketing research process and methodology. This is a new topic. Marketing research is the symptomatic design, collection, analyzing, and reporting to the data relevant to a specific marketing situation facing on facing an organization. And any situation of the organization, if they've got any problem or any new idea, they have to go for the research of the market and the consumer and customers. Companies use marketing research in a wide variety of situations. For example, marketing research gives marketer insight into the customer motivation, purchase behavior, and satisfaction. It can help them to assess market potential and market share and measure the effectiveness of pricing, product distribution, and promotion activities. These are the fundamental requirement of a marketing company to overcome the competition and passion for getting share out of the market. Some large companies have their own research department that work with the marketing manager on marketing research project. In addition, these companies, like their smaller counterparts, frequently hire outside research specialists to consult with the management on a specific marketing problem and to conduct marketing research studies. Sometimes firms supplies purchase data collected by outside firms to aid in their decision making. Marketing research process has got 4 steps. Number one, define the problem and research objectives. Define the problem is not a simple thing. You have to define the problem of your consumer and customer and market, and you have to define the problem of yourself. Means what type of need, wanted, demand of a customer in the market, what type of competition present in the market, how many competitors are there, which competitor has got competitive edge on your marketing. So these are the problems you have to identify. A research objective, the qualitative and quantitative objectives. Quantitative means how many number of products you want to sell in a year. And qualitative means what the image of your brand and company will be in the market. Implementing the research plan, you just make a research plan, how to do the research, how to collect the data, how to prepare the questionnaires, how to collect the samples. And for that plan, you have to implement means you must have a human resources and financial or capital resources to conduct any research. Interpreting and reporting the finding, whatever the data you have collected, how you interpret into your business terms. For example, the population of certain area is about under 40 years or more. Then what you have decide? You have to decide, interpret it that this is an opportunity for us to launch such a product which is usable by this community of 40 under 40 years of age. Defining the problem research objectives, marketing manager and research must work together closely to define the problem and agree on research objective. The manager best understanding the decision for which information is needed, whereas the researcher's best understanding is understand marketing research, how to obtain the information, define the problem and research objectives, often the hardest step in research process. The manager may know that something is wrong without knowing the specific causes. First step is probably the most difficult but also the most important one. It guides the entire research process. It's frustration and costly to reach the end of an expensive research project only to learn that you have addressed the wrong problem. Defining the problem and research objectives, developing a research plan. After the problem has been defined carefully, the manager and the researcher must get the research objectives. A marketing research project might have one of the three types of the objectives. The objective of exploratory research is to gather preliminary information that will help define the problem and suggest hypothesis. The objective of description research is to describe things such as the market potential for a product or the demographic and attitude of the consumer who buy the product. The objective of causal research is to tell the hypothesis about cause and effect relationship. That's why it is known as a causal research. For example, would a 10% decrease in the tuition at a private college result in an enrollment increase sufficient to offset the reduced tuition? Managers often start with exploratory research and later follow the descriptive or causal research. The statement of the problem and research objective guide the entire research process. Is you have to make a one line or two line statement about the problem. The manager and the researcher should put the statement in writing to be certain that they agree on the purpose and expected result of the research. Developing the research plan. How you make a research plan? Plan is a formulation. So you must understand how to make a formula, what ingredients required in that formula. Once researchers have defined the research problem and objective, they must determine the exact information needed, develop a plan for gathering it efficiently and present the plan to the management. The research plan outlines source of existing data and spell out the specific research approach, contact method, sampling plan, instrument. That is question is that research will use to gather new data. Research objective must be translated into specific information needs. For example, suppose the Chipotle Mexican grill want to know how consumer would react to addition of the drive-through services to its restaurants. US fast food chain generate an estimated 24% of sales through drive-through. However, Chipotle, the sustainability-minded fast casual restaurant that position itself on food with integrity, does not offer drive-through services. Adding drive-through might help Chipotle leverage its strong brand position and attract new sales. The proposed research might call for the following specific information. Exploratory research. Exploratory research, marketing research together preliminary information that will help define problem and suggest hypothesis. This is known as exploratory research. The same way, descriptive research, marketing research to better describe marketing problem, situation or market, such as the market potential for a product or the demographic and attitude of the consumer. Causal research, marketing research to test hypothesis, cause and effect. So these are the research. Now we talk about how to gather secondary data. First of all, you must understand what is primary data and what is secondary data. Primary data is the data which collect directly from the customer by the researcher. Secondary data is that already research has been done and that research data has been available in the market. In the form of journal, periodics, pieces, newspapers, magazines. Gathering secondary data, researchers usually start by gathering secondary data. The company internal data is also secondary data. Data provides a good starting point. However, the company can also tap into a wide assortment of external information sources. Company can buy secondary data from outside supplier. For example, Nielsen sells data from a consumer panel of more than 250,000 households in 25 countries worldwide, with measure of a trial and repeat purchasing, brand loyalty, and buyer demographic. Experience Sanon carries out a full spectrum of consumer studies that provide a comprehensive view of American consumers. The future companies search information on important social and lifestyle trends. These and other firms supply high quality data to suit a wide variety of marketing information. So this is all the way how to collect the secondary data using a commercial online data which is available commercially. Marketing research can conduct their own search of secondary data source. General data serves such as a request and Nexus put an incredible wealth of information at the fingertips of marketing decision makers. Beyond commercial services, offering information for a fee about every industry associated government agencies, business publications, and new medium offers free information to those tenacious enough to find their website or app. Internet set engine, as we have just mentioned here, using a commercial data. Now we talk about the internet search engine like Google, Yahoo, can also help and also be a big help in locating relevant secondary information sources. However, they can also be very frustrating and inefficient. For example, a Chipotle marketer Googling fast food drive-through would come up with a more than 6.8 million hits. A still well-structured, well-designed online search can be a good starting point to any marketing research objective project. Secondary data can usually be obtained more quickly and at a lower cost than primary data because it is already available. Already company has conducted the research last year or last year or last 5 years. So it is available in the market in the form of document, newspaper, periodics, journals, magazines, online. Also, secondary data source can sometimes provide data on individual company cannot collect on its own. Information that either is not directly available or would be too expensive to collect. For example, it would be too expensive for a consumer product brand such as a Coca-Cola or a Tide is a washing powder to conduct continuous retail stores audit to find out about the market share, price, display of its own and competitors' brand. But those marketers can buy store sales and audit data from the IRI, which provides data from 34,000 retail stores in market around the nation. So you can get the data from the private resources also. These are the agencies who do the research and collect the data and store with them, and then they sell this data to all the companies. Secondary data also present problem. Researchers can rarely obtain all the data that needs from a secondary source. For example, Chipotle will not find existing information regarding consumer reaction about new drive-through services, and it has not yet installed. Even when data can be found, the information might not be very suitable or usable. The researcher must evaluate secondary information carefully to make certain it is relevant to fit the research project needs. Accurate, reliability collected, and the reported current, up-to-date enough for current decision. Unimpaired, objectively collected and reported. Primary data collection. Secondary data provide a good start point for research and often help to define research problem and objectives. As I have mentioned, the problems are two types: your own problem and the customer problem. For a consumer problem, objectives are also two types, qualitative and quantitative. In most cases, however, the company must also collect primary data. Table 4.1 shows that the designing a plan for a primary data collected call for a number of decisions on research approaches, contact method, and sampling plan and research instrument use questions. Research approach. Research approach for gathering primary data includes observation, survey, and experience. Now you have seen this is primary data. We are talking about the primary data. How we collect the primary data? By observation, you are standing in a supermarket, now observing the customer attitude of buying. You are standing on a street and observing the behavior of the traffic. Survey means you go into the market or the houses and ask certain questions from them and experience. You yourself involved in that activity. For example, you are going Clifton and see how the people are riding on the camel, and you also ride on the camel and get the experience. We discuss each one in turn. Observational research. Observational research involves gathering primary data by observing relevant people, actions, and situations. For example, foods, food retailers, traders, might evaluate possible new store location by checking traffic patterns, neighborhoods condition, and the location of competing whole food, fresh market, and other retail chains. Researchers often observe consumer behavior to glean customer insight they cannot obtain by simple asking consumer questions. For instance, fish price has established an observation lab in which it can be observed the reaction little tot have to new toys. Means you have to observe a consumer on a low price. Fish price is low price. And the children, how they behave while they're, they're buying a toys. Fisher Price Play Lab is a sunny toy stove space where lucky kids get to test Fisher Price prototype under the watchful eyes of the designer who hope to learn what will get their work on into a new toy frenzy. In the lab, some 3,500 kids participate each year testing 1,200 products annually. Our designers watch and learn from how children play, say a Fisher Price child researcher manager. It really helps us make better product. Marketer not only observe what consumers do, but also observe what consumers are saying. As discussed earlier, marketers now routinely listen in and consumer conservation on blog, social media, and website. Observing such naturally occurring feedback can provide input that simply cannot be gained through more structured and formal research approach. A wide range of the companies now use ethnographic research. Ethnographic research involves sending observers to watch and interact with consumers in the natural environment. The observer might be trained anthropologists and psychologists for a company researchers and managers. For example, tour inside team frequently bars and the other locations in a top secret small town location. They call it the outpost within a day drive of Chicago. The researchers use the town as a real life lab, hobnobbing anonymously with the bar pattern, supermarkets, shoppers, restaurants, diners, convenience store clerks. Other town people again authentic insight into the how middle and weekend consumer buy, drink, dine, and socialize in around foods and competing beer brand. Global branding firms Landor launched Landor families on ongoing ethnographic study that has followed 11 French families intensely for the past 7 years. Landor researchers visit the families twice a year in their home, diving deeply into both their refrigerator and their food shopping behavior and opinion. The researchers also shop with the families at their local supermarket and look over their shoulder while they shop online. The families furnish monthly online report detailing their shopping behavior and opinion. The Landor families study provide rich behavior insight for a Landor client, such as the non-craft foods and Procter and Gamble. Today, a big data analytic can provide important insight into the what, when, where consumer buy. Planning primary data collection, how you plan the data collection, research approach. There are three ways: observation, survey, and experiment. Contact method, mail, telephone, personal, online. Sampling plan, sample unit, sample size, sample procedures. Research instrument, questionnaires, mechanical instrument, mechanical questionnaires. I was in these simple. However, something simple cannot be observed, such as the attitude, motives, private behavior. Long-term and infrequent behavior is also difficult to observe. Finally, observation can be very difficult to interpret because of these limitations. Research often use observation along with other data collection methods. Survey research. Survey research is the most widely used method for primary data collection. Is the approach best suited for gathering descriptive information. Company that want to know about people knowledge, attitude, preferences, buying behavior can often find out by asking them directly. The major advantage of survey research is its flexibility. It can be used to obtain many different kind of information in many different situations. Survey address almost Any marketing questions or decision can be conducted by phone, mail, or online or in person. However, survey research also represents some problem. Sometimes people are unable to answer the survey question because they cannot remember or have never thought about what they do and why they do it. People may be unwilling to respond to unknown interviewer or about things they consider private. Respondent may answer survey questions even when they do not know the answer just to appear smarter or more informed, or they may try to help interviewers by giving pleasing answer. Finally, business people may not take the time, or they might resend the intuition into the private privacy. Experimental research. Whenever observation is best suited for exploratory research and survey for the descriptive research, experimental research is best suited for gathering causal information. Experiment involves selecting matched group of the subjects. One is experimental subject, another is control subject, giving them different treatment, like we do in our medical field. Control unrelated factors and checking for the differences in group response. Thus, experimental research try to explain cause and effect relationship. For example, before adding a new sandwich to its menu, McDonald's might use experience to test the effect on sales of the two different prices it might charge. It could introduce the new sandwich at one price in one city and another price in another city. If the city are similar and if all other marketing efforts for the sandwich are the same, then differences in sale in the two cities could be related to the price charged. Contact method. Information can be collected by mail, by telephone, by personal interview, or online. Each contact method has its own particular strengths and weaknesses. Mail, telephone, and personal interviews. Mail questionnaires can be used to collect large amount of information at a low cost per person's responses. Respondent may give more honest answer on a mail questionnaires than to an unknown interviewer in persons or others. The phone. Also, no interviewer is involved to bias responded answer. However, mail questionnaires are not very flexible. All responded answer the same question in a fixed order, and mail survey usually take longer to complete, and response rates are often low. As a result, more and more marketers are now shifting to faster, more flexible, and lowest cost email, online, and mobile phone survey. Telephone interviewing is one of the best methods for gathering information quickly, and it provides greater flexibility than small questionnaires. Interviewer can explain difficult questions, and depending on the answer they receive, skip some questions to probe on another. Response rate tend to be higher than with mail questionnaires. An interviewer can ask to speak to a respondent with the desired characteristic or even by name. However, with the telephone interview, the cost per respondent is higher than with mail, online, or a mobile questionnaires. Also, people may not want to discuss personal questions with an interviewer. The method is introduce interviewer bias, the way interviewer talk, how they ask questions, and other differences that might affect respondent answer. Finally, in this age of do not call, list and promotion harass consumer, potential survey response are increasingly hanging up on telephone interviewer rather than taking with them. Personal interview interviewing take two forms, individual interviewing and a group interview. Individual interviewing involves talking with the people in their home or offices, on the street or in shopping mall. Such interview is flexible. The trained interviewer can guide interview, explain difficult questions, and explore issues as the situation requires. They can show subject actual process, packages, advertisement, or various video and observe reaction and behavior. However, individual person's interview may cost 3 to 4 times as much as telephone interviewer. We have observed that there are different methods of collecting data in research. How we collect the primary data, how we collect the secondary data, what is observational research, right? And what is survey research. Then we have seen that experimental research, how we conduct contact method with the people to whom you want to take an interview online or mail, telephone, personal interviews, and other method focus group, telephone interviews, mail, personal interviews. Now we talk about the focus group. Group interview consists of inviting a small group of the people to meet with a trained moderator to talk about a product or services or organization. Participants normally are paid a small sum for attending. A moderator encourages free and easy discussion, hoping that group interaction will bring out deeper feeling and thoughts. At the same time, the moderator focuses the discussion, hence the name focus group interviewer. In traditional focus groups, researchers and marketers watch the focus discussion from behind a one-way mirror and video recording session for later studies. Through video conferencing and internet technologies, marketers in far-off location can look in and listen, even participant as a focus group progress. Focus grouping interview has become one of the major qualitative and market research tools for gaining fresh insight into the consumer thoughts and feeling. In focus group setting, researchers not only hear consumer ideas and opinion, they also can observe facial expression, body movement, group interplay, and conversational flow. However, focus groups studies present some challenges. They usually employ a small sample to keep time and cost down, and it may be hard to generate from the result. However, consumer and focus groups are not always open and honest about their real feeling, behavior, intention in front of other people. To overcome these problems, many researchers are tinkering with the focus group design. Some companies are changing example. Luxus host an evening with the Luxus dinner in customer home with group of luxury cars buyers to learn of the environment in which they could focus group to help consumer relax and elicit more authentic response. For pros and personal, why they did or did not buy a Lexus. Other companies use immersion groups, a small group of the companies who interact directly and informally with the product designers without a focus group moderation present. You have seen the focus group, how we work on a focus interview. This is also one technique to collect the data. And this is a primary data because audience are in front of you online or physically, and directly you get through their attitude and behavior and knowledge and interest in your product or brand. So in that your focus group interview is also a very important source of the primary data. Online interview, online marketing research, and internet has had a dramatic impact on how marketing research is conducted. Increasingly, research are collected primarily data through online marketing research, internet and mobile survey, online focus group, consumer tracking experiments, and online panel and brand communities. Online research can take many forms. A company can use the internet or a mobile technology as a survey medium. It can include a questionnaire on its web or social media sites or use email or mobile devices to invite people to answer questions. It can create online panel that provides regular feedback or conduct live discussion or online focus group. Researchers can also conduct online experiments. They can experiment with the different prices, headlines, or a product features on the different web or mobile sites or at a different time to learn the relative effectiveness of the others. They can set up virtual shopping environment and use them to test new product and marketing programs. Or a company can learn about the behavior of online consumer customer by following their click stream as they visit the online site and move to the other. So this is all about today.